Mr. Lynch, life's only been forever. Good morning, Mr. Martinez, simply, Mr. Martinez, simply, or 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 simply, dai, stai o not Lynch. It's January 31, so the last day of this January 36, also, yes, and also last Saturday is January 36, 2026, and it's in fact Saturday in Naples. In Naples. In Naples. Yeah, so Ali Claudio once again is really clear discount strangera. At the moment seems to be now. It's a metal episode of one cold and divi. And it's between early afternoon 14 and 29 minutes. 57 to Fahrenheit 14 Celsius, and this means it's really cold at the CBS faculty classic for the winter period. Just report for years ago, as in fact, because the effect channel at an average years, June 17 factory over come years with the words for last past summer. Straps on no, remember the following factor in last past summer, think body. So factory over comes for years ago to now it's for the winter come on previous season, summer 21 in particular, on 16 for 3 p.m. in Italy, as straps on no, remember think body for body, choose, push indeed. I'm sure that twice 3 amazing society smettenza ma proposa track the question to which I suspect number perhaps para to free read the soon the take ratio of the spring exam the audio the fact of spring searches agent soft for some agent for the auto once again the soft sostanze in general for this is ripeterza classicity and the secretary keys that is from something considered a that absolutely incomplete but not because it's winter, it's cold, so it's contrary we should complete but when it's senza absolutely incomplete I'm referring to me particularly perhaps the Sibiro or for the Sibiro because I don't feel cool but I feel cool less than people thanks to studies of Brax with 2 Brax for 2 semesters which also very cool and when I come the winter period winter reports period I always what the comment what the comment which has been utilized Brax in this case I wrote it in the first part of this comment was an asterisk so if someone is interested this first part of the first comment with the asterisk so no time factor to Brax I don't know if più finite I think no because in fact I feel cool avete fin cosa sono non si pensa sempre finché 90% feel cool vabbè in genere in some way for me what's good instead what was cut also to strange way I think I can say something just for it's better to seems like me some of this in Galilea finché Trump siamo sì ripete just before senza fare niente 14 Celsius at important in questo museo ci vedi sto due vedi sì, sì, le cortine sono queste cortine già sembra presente mi scioglie al si suppose perché sono da ripetere si sa ripeto once again totally cloudy 4 gradi sky e così che prende last days calling with radio cosa consiglio with ring calling man station ring senza praticamente not sure where possible in genere sì insomma sure at lead at became I think darker, bleaker, and also that my team, if not a few months from it, I think were close, we see what happens. But as no, bisogna avere su Twitter, si fa significa come scritto today, perché band, Max, at once a little good. So si sono mythical quindi what working in France anche fa mix di plantazione cortista la storia ma non bar ma questo tingo su questo borsi di preo su ting parte vi sa da parte ma trip non lo passi ma per scritto in fatto non lo sing si metti se vedo non come section ci bi quante te festa come la fortuna quando ora vanno demo si rende come section ma non ho più con si notai si 3 2 shot ne abbiamo finco from lite perhaps finco yes si green flower song of mix to plans. If you're not even better, cioè di better non si lascia trovare che first part of the video which produce show due tra scatta sia in genere scazzi come quindi scazzi come room fa sono solo da mitico quindi ne da mitico room Or, for a broader perspective, also necessary practice shot similar to the classical shot every monitor, the more than 30 secondi, previous curtain, più curtain, più pentablanches, perhaps also the first curtain, also the points of the curtain, non to exactly this sure, carry curtain, still called generation, and so now we have one day should change it. I was saying this shot, so this effect before and this technology should also this at more this, so if you imagine us here, it's picture stand to sing it for the previous curtain bit, più curtain, più pentablanches, also the case of the story carry curtain, also the case of exactly, and also in case now as I read for this new curtain, so I repeat expression also in case for time, so yes, this latest picture synthesis, but also always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot at this one mythical genius shot. Guarda, è uscito un notifiso per fatto mestiere, un notifiso per farsi la sottoba, si porta a tolbe su parte sul subito, un notifiso per nazio di senza su corti, for the cortimus solid più su sfale lo solid, so repeat once again, but also always better visible for me in its entirety in this shot at this one mythical genius shot. Finally, for my mythical keyboard, Magic 640 PG 635 also in case of mythical genius shot. Yeah, great people for sharing the boards, everything to work. Some people sister. Also myself, and also biscuits, and finally, I hope you all get breakfast. It's late in general, also myself, come see little for us. And if my meetings last December 31, and took for the first time, it's late in general, and all for the record, but not at all for myself, because was kind of almighty make breakfast this hours, December, it's little bit on. But bowl imports that dovresti fare con decorare sembra nato se ti questa finta nessun beta statuita finale per te mi linki milka ti finta in parte metti su si finché così di sé questo non si risulta ciò te ripete really closer carriera lì tutto suonato ti sembra more than yes era just roll up just in code 14 and 29 minutes. In part English shows name is in some way also be 14 with so a million and as we were to see. Sono most bellissime food. Absolutely. Most money or more than money. Most I think si può more than money. This should be a video. I also so continue on this thing that back of X from a reason private so new but I say new the X reason and it was the fifth the beautiful fifth and also the birds beautiful black red and also white and slightly if the one compare to the result things that no who perhaps following party on Friday so whatever thing nobody yes but this was the record but this should be a video but I could miss you to 1 day so many times pezzi the c'è stato the things un di speech from the shots bisogna to gioco su posso mania insomma sono in fase di su effetto fa che mi come su biscuit si finché tu non messo portato da gioco ci poi dopo chip chips and if I'm saying what I have to be so message in particular I think some user this is one but to make three shots from basic tonic and net coffee but also a shock in focus anche su una testa una shot fra videos una shot in sfinca essa si monso adesso si che sa lo so sconci mi sente via sono in check better so better it was a money is quick si finish it now there is once it brought it once I think 205 6 7 so si che sa lo so sconci mi sente via sono ci vediamo ci better however it's in straight monitor today pattern certe detto once again nel crew beh good news e un easy also factoring as a breakfast su bomba sempre in particolare ma mi su che si quindi forse che last period se gioco so to ma insomma so cosa significa to questa stanza vedi e pensiamo che sono se tolla di cose per questo posso mai bomba se continui questa pazzia in finale biossia strana con da la canzone ragazzi mi sa siamo peso position proprio so che segue che delle pama Mattino detto per il peso per attraverso per la position in genere seguono il peso position e because attraverso la position farmina da Italian Pama Dark Chocolate Chip Series fa questo a true come nel motivo because they are really super bar. Ah sì, tu muovi su questo fare con il numero tu leva. Ma vuoi sì.